For 25 years, Patti Blanton was one of the most dominant amateur golfers in Oklahoma and the Midwest. But if you didn't know her history, you couldn't know the impact she had on the game of golf. You see, Patti was married 3 times. That's important because Patti won golf tournaments, lots of golf tournaments, and her last name wasn't always the same. Born in 1903 in Indian Territory in southeastern Oklahoma, Patti didn't even take up the game of golf until 1929 when she was 26 years old. But she was a quick study, and 2 years later, Patti won the Oklahoma Amateur Championship as Patti Beyer. She won the state title again in 1932 and twice more in 1947 and 1948 under the Blanton name. Also in 1932, Patti won the Women's Trans-Miss, a national event. Patti's star was on the rise. In 1933, Patti took her game to Wichita, Kansas, and was known as Patti Newbold. Mrs. Newbold won the Kansas Amateur Championship 4 times, including 3 times in a row in 1937, 38, and 39. Mrs. Newbold also won the Mexican Amateur Championship in Guadalajara in 1936, beating World Golf Hall of Famer Betty Jamieson. Prior to taking up golf, Patti was in a swimming accident that left her deaf in one ear and with limited hearing in the other. Patti's loss of hearing created many disadvantages, but it was an advantage for her on the golf course. During competition, Patti just turned off her hearing aid and tuned out her opponent. Patti was a fierce competitor. In 1940, she married Ernie Blanton of Enid. Patti took some time off to raise a family. If Patti were with us today, she would probably claim her family as her most important championship. Daughter Pamela lives in Colorado Springs and was 2004 Reserve Canadian National Champion on Arabian Stallion Miss Steer. Son Pat lives in Enid and is a 2-time club champion at Oakwood Country Club. Patti and Ernie have been given credit for founding Oakwood Country Club in 1947 and hiring world-renowned golf architect Perry Maxwell to design it. Husband Ernie was an outstanding player in his own right, winning 2 senior titles at the Broadmoor in Colorado Springs. The Blantons kept homes in Enid and Colorado Springs. Patti won the Colorado Amateur Championship in 1953 and 1955. She also won the prestigious Broadmoor Invitational twice in 1949 and 1956. Patti's string of accomplishments does not include appearing in 8 USGA Women's Amateur Championships, reaching the 4th round in 1937 and the quarterfinals in 1946. She was the first Oklahoman to ever qualify for the USGA National Tournament. Patti died in 2002 in Enid at the age of 99. For a quarter of a century, Patti Blanton made friends all over the country. She held her own against great amateur players like Babe Zaharias and Patty Berg. She won 14 major titles in 3 different states and 1 country. Call her what you would like. Just make sure you call her a champion. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Hall of Famer Patti Blanton. Accepting for Mrs. Blanton are her children, Pam King and Pat Blanton.